Hello, good evening. Welcome everybody to another Wednesday night. Tonight we are doing public domain character. At least I think she's public domain. Ma Hunkel, the Golden Age Red Tornado. And what got me inspired to do her is this last Sunday I was over on the mic stand reading some comics with Mike Walters for his retro comic, his comics retrospective, and we were reading where my Hunkel becomes the Golden Age Red Tornado for the first time. So I thought it would be neat to do her, draw her up. So anyways, with that said, let me share this out, and then we will... Oh, I don't think I actually went to the Go Live thing yet. So I'll share this out. Share it on X or Twitter, as I like to call it. Share it on Facebook. And then, of course, we'll grab it and share it in Namosh. Okay, so I guess now we're in the on-air chat. Share our screen, there we go. And then over back, close. Hey, Metal, how are you? Okay, you know what? Let's put an image of Ma Hunkel up.
You ever just want to walk into the ocean like Godzilla and not come back?
Yes and no. I'm not sure whether the ocean, but yeah, just go wander somewhere and never come back. Maybe not the ocean. You know, I'm not really tough.
Like at the end of a Godzilla movie, he just like slowly walks into the ocean until his head disappears, and then that's all you see of Godzilla until the next time he shows up.
Yeah, the only problem is with that is I can't breathe underwater like Godzilla.
I'm not even sure Godzilla needs to breathe, to be honest.
So what?
Like, that guy's been in space fighting people on, like, asteroids and Planet X and stuff like that. I don't even think he needs to breathe.
I think he's like Superman. Hey, Fitzjozo.
Something. I think maybe he could just live entirely by radiation. He just doesn't need an external source like Superman. He's just like a nuclear reactor walking.
Fitzjozo says, how is Red Tornado 1 an indie character? Well, this isn't... I didn't put indie today. I put public domain. I believe because it's a 1940s character that it would be public domain. I could be wrong about that, so... But yes, the original one, Ma Hunkel, I do believe is public domain. I could look it up to be sure, but I was who read her stuff on Sunday, so that's what inspired this one. So there's an answer for Chozo. Not sure whether it's a good one, but it's an answer.
One of the earliest female superheroes in comic history.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think there was a few beforehand. Like Shayna
I didn't say
had
the earliest. I just said one
one.
of the earliest.
Yeah, sure. Let's see. Ma Hunkel.
Technically, she debuted in '39.
Yeah, Ma Hunkel did, but her appearance, first appearance as Red Tornado, was not till 1940.
Yeah, she was the caretaker of the Justice Society of America long term. That kind of became her legacy. Miss Abigail.
Oh wow! I searched is Ma Hunkel. Golden Age Red Tornado public domain. And the first result in the search is this YouTube thing. My current.
That's funny.
I clicked on it, not realizing. Oh, yes. I'm not seeing. I can't tell whether she's public domain or not.
Yeah, I don't know because I did a quick check on that too. I don't think anybody has her listed anywhere. We'd actually have to find not just when she came out, which before she was Red Tornado was obviously 39, only an extra year for that. But then we'd have to find her individual creator, their life, and do some math, and I don't feel like doing that right now.
Guess what? Neither do I. Nobody cares about the original Red Tornado. I think Phantoma has more interesting gimmick than Wonder Woman.
Well, you know what? There's at least two people on this show right now that care about Hunkel, so.
Yeah, well, I definitely do. Like I read her story. It's goofy. I think me and Mike had read a couple stories of her before she became Red Tornado. Hey, Mike, there's Mike. So, like, she doesn't have any superpowers. It's, like, well, I won't say original. It's a very goofy costume, like. So I'm not sure what else I can say, but
It definitely evokes the sense of like a granny who would put on an outfit to play with the kids.
yeah. And yeah, there's probably not a lot of people out there that care about it, but I don't always do a character on this because anybody else cares about it. It has to pique my. Sometimes it has to pique my interest. Especially when nobody's asked for a certain character. Yes, Fitzjozo has asked for certain characters before, and other people have in the past too. And I've done them, because I'm trying to, appeal to my audience, people that have been in my audience. But when I don't have anything specific, I'm going to do something I want to do. I think that makes total sense, eh? Metal?
If you say so. I zoned out halfway through.
Fitzgerald, I think the OG Red Tornado was a joke character. Of course it was. Of course she was. At first. But. And hello to
the Legacy Red Tornado was a joke character at first too. Not as much, a little more serious of adventures, but bringing back the Red Tornado in any form was kind of a joke.
Let's see. Forbish Man says Tim. Mike says Ma Hunkel debuted in All American Comics #3 as part of the Scribbly feature, and then made her first appearance as Red Tornado in All American 29. Scribbly's creator was Sheldon Meyer. The mascot character
Did you say
for
debate?
Yeah, I messed that up.
I
Even
guess
more.
She doesn't need toilet paper. She's got a duvet at home. Then.
Kind of like Fat Man, the Human Flying Saucer. Okay, I never heard that. That's it. We're doing I'm drawing up Red Tornado, their Golden Age one. Tim, Ma Hunkel.
Her name is Abigail, but she'd prefer you call her Ma.
I guess you read that or looked that up. Mike.
I'm a little familiar with the character. I've read several of her stories.
Okay. Blue. The character was created by the original creator of the original Captain Marvel. Sort of looks like Forbish Man. Okay. I have no idea who that is. Oh, Mike, if you're still here, do you know whether Ma Hunkel or Golden Age Red Tornado is public domain?
Oh, I might be pushing it. I just looked up Sheldon Meyer. And he died 19 days after I was born.
Okay.
And typically copyright is the life of the creator plus blank number of years.
Yeah. I
forgot what Disney got it pushed to now, but
yeah. It also might be different for Canada because I know Canada is a little different too.
Maybe, but I mean, Sheldon was born and raised in New York City, so
yeah, but
it was published under their.
Yeah, but it was published, yes, in the States, but it's just like Star Trek was published in Canada, but certain things. Canada doesn't have quite the same rules for public domain.
Yeah, but
Uh,
what matters is which jurisdiction is going to charge you on it.
yeah, true. Which,
In this case, would be the United States.
yeah, but if I went and published it just in if I did something of her and published it just in Canada, question is, could they get me because I'm doing it in Canada? Now, if
I think it just depends if they feel like it.
yeah,
Like if they actually feel like it's stepping on their toes. I don't know if anybody's going to try to get you for Ma Hunkel really at all.
but
Especially if you don't actually put the word Red Tornado on a book, right? Like if she calls herself it in the
yeah,
book, you're probably fine. As long as you don't try to put it on the book, even though technically with things that are public domain, you could put like Rick Piper's Red Tornado or Cross Comics. But if it's not quite there yet, that's probably where they're going to try to come after you.
no,
If you put the word like Cross Comics Ma Hunkel, they're like, yeah, but we don't care that much about Ma Hunkel. We just care
yeah,
more about the title, The Red Tornado.
yeah. Let's see. Mike says, Rick, do you remember that I told you about the Golden Age Red Turtle's first appearance in Justice Society All American Comics #3? Well, I
All-Star
thought
Comics #3.
I thought that this Golden Age one was the first appearance of her in All American Comics. #20. Okay, I'm confused now. uh, Fitzchozo says you could have a Billy Bastion in a comic legally. Yeah. But even with I if I know the stuff, I'm just not sure whether because of 1940 or whatever, whether she would be public domain. I'm surprised nobody outside of DC has made a comic where Billy Bastion shows up. I am, but I'm not. Because I think even Shazam, or the original Captain Marvel, is public domain too. You could use him in a few comics. But I don't think anybody's has yet, obviously.
I mean, to be fair, the original version has been public domain since the 60s. Due to just the legal stuff about it. He fell into public domain. Which also means, because all of the things attached to that original version, even the first few years did, Steamboat Bill is public domain too.
Who's
Billy's
Steamboat?
valet.
Okay.
It's the valet that DC tries to forget about.
Okay.
He was a really cool character, but his design was very much like a cartoony black caricature.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, the way they treated him, aside from, I guess, maybe his speech really wasn't, but I mean, his speech was also kind of on par with, like, a backwoods person's speech.
Yeah.
And a lot of black people lived in the backwoods alongside, like, the Scots-Irish Appalachians, so they would speak the same. But yeah, the way he was drawn is kind of like a black caricature. Aside from that, though, really cool character that had a lot of fun stuff. And I feel like you could very much resurrect him if you just gave him like a more courteous redesign and made him less of a caricature. You
Yeah.
could even still have him mostly act the same. At the time, you would actually probably even consider him Billy's best friend.
Yeah. Okay.
It's weird that Billy is best friends with an adult man if you just see it in a vacuum and don't realize how they met while he was in Captain Marvel form. But, yeah, it is what it is. Technically, he became Captain Marvel's valet. But that kind of came with also being Billy's valet.
Yeah.
He was introduced 2 years into the Captain Marvel comics.
Public domain.
Yeah, but that's the other thing too. So, in general, things that the creator had maintained the copyright to or whatever during their whole life is the life of the creator plus I'd have to look at the year count. Disney kept pushing it back. But there are a lot of things that fall into public domain while the creator's still alive, which was the case for several of these characters. So, for all you know, Hunkel could be public domain decades ago.
Yeah. Okay, so
There's no link, Mike. He's in the Discord. If you have access to the Discord, you can get in.
yeah.
You just have to scroll all the way down on the side until you see on air.
Yeah, because I know he's got a Discord himself, so.
Yeah, he was just trying to look for the link to get in, like you sent one. It's like, we're not in StreamYard or anything like that.
Yeah, I just have it. Oh, 1939, a public domain in, this is saying 2035. Ma Hunkel will enter public domain on January 1st, 2035. So, okay, she's now
yeah.
not public
I'm not
domain.
surprised. I'm not surprised, especially because she's been used several times and they've probably retained the rights to her before that. She's technically still in continuity the cleaner, what's it called, the housekeeper for the JSA.
Yeah. Timothy says that is not exactly how I read that medal. Read what? I had a copyright loss lifetime plus 50 years. Well, it's sometimes when you don't do stuff to renew it or whatever, it gets. I think it even gets trickier when a corporation owns part of a character or whatever. Like Sheldon created this character, and he's been dead for several number of years, but DC owns the rights too.
34.
But DC's been dead for. DC also
especially
owns.
If you made it under a company, right? That's where it gets trickier. If like you originally made something for a company, technically the entity that is the company carries the copyright, and there are some different rules when the copyright was originally made under a company. I don't think that should even exist. I think all copyright should be attached to individuals and their estates, but it is what it is. And yes, the last thing he said was technically right, but almost in the inverse, it's right in anything after a certain year is copyrighted upon creation or publishing specifically. You have to make it public. Though there have been some cases where people have won things by pulling out their private stuff if they can prove that they had shown that private thing to the person that stole their copyright. If something's
Okay.
public, that's where you get most of your thing. But it's more the reverse, that anything before a certain cutoff date was just automatically declared public domain, and the rules for copyright went from then on forward.
Yeah. And
I
hello,
want
Fitz.
I want to ask. Uh, okay. Wait, hold on. Say hello.
Just 1 second. Mike. Uh, it might be under voice channels. Not sure whether you have that open up. You got to scroll down on the side where you see the, like general voice videos going live, cross comics, YouTube, and open up voice channels, and then scroll down a little bit more, and you'll see the on air there.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, why do you think nobody has used Shazam in the story outside of DC?
Because they just don't want to deal with possible legal troubles, even when something is public domain. Because there's still trademark and stuff you have to deal with. So
I know you can't call the book. You can't call the book Shazam or Captain Marvel, but you can still have Billy Batson be in it.
What's funny is like DC's not the thing stopping you from calling the book Captain Marvel.
It's Marvel. I know.
Yeah, because they kind of ceded that to Marvel, so you have to deal with two different entities there.
I know, but you can't call the book out of Captain Marvel Shazam, but you can still have Billy Batson be in the book. You could probably just call it Wiz Comics. I won't be surprised.
Yeah, but I don't think a lot of people are these days are that attached to Billy Batson as a character on his own.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most of the time they're attached to Captain Marvel. Period. Right? Even Billy's just the other side of that coin. But I think a lot of people just don't want it if they can't have him yell Shazam. Which you
can, but you can't, but you can't call the book Shazam.
Falling into trouble. And the problem is, even if you could win the case, you have to actually take it to court first. Like even when something is public domain, a judge might laugh it out of court or whatever, but they have to review the case. The case has to be filed. You're still going to be taken to court. There's going to be discovery, and a lot of people just don't want that. It's going to cost money.
Because I know why. Once Superman hits public domain, immediately they're gonna start trying because it's Superman. He's the most popular superhero in the world.
Yeah, he's more popular. But the thing is, I think DC probably won't care about that one because the sheer number of people that are gonna do it. Because there aren't a lot of people trying it with like Captain Marvel, they could take people to court and try one.
Yeah, because no one cares about Captain Marvel Shazam for some reason.
Well, they do a little bit.
It was popular back in the 40s when it first came out. Very popular to the point where even guys own film serial.
Yeah, and actually in the 60s, I think 60s or 70s, he's actually got a TV series which I watched as a kid.
In the 70s, I know.
Yeah,
74. That was pretty good. I like that one.
Also, the thing is, he did recently get 3 movies. 2 or 3 movies?
2 movies. 2 movies.
Yeah, 2 movies.
The second one's awful.
So people do care about the character still. But even with the Superman, I don't think there's going to be as many people as you think, because the people still won't want to get sued and all that, risk it. It depends on how much the character, I think, is in the limelight.
The thing about the prototype, the thing is, Superman has changed a lot. What we think of Superman now is nothing like the original.
Well, you also have to look at the inverse, right? You have to look at it from the other perspective.
Let me okay.
Yeah, but what you're saying doesn't really matter to the situation.
Okay, whereas Shazam was basically fully formed from the jump. Pretty much. Like pretty much every iconic element of Shazam was introduced in the 40s. So.
Shazam.
I agree with Rick here, though, where I don't actually think there's going to be as many Superman as even DC thinks there's going to be. Because DC is prepared. They know that there is a wave coming. I don't think the wave is going to be as big as they've declared it's going to be. And the reason for that is you can make your Superman story as like fan fiction right now. They could send a like C&D or whatever, But like, as long as you're not selling it, it's not worth them doing that. And there's tons of people who make Superman fan comics right now. The thing is, are you going to want to sell it? So the inverse is that it's not even if are you going to want to sell it, are people going to want to buy it? And I think that's also where we come down to Captain Marvel. Even if you made it and you published it, are people going to want to buy it? It could be Superman. A lot of people may not want to buy it if DC's name's not on it.
Yeah. Because comic book fans are more in the know. Average normie doesn't care. Although movies is a bit different. If you made a movie about Billy Batson and then didn't call the movie Captain Marvel Shazam, or anything like that,
got wide release, which with streaming nowadays you could get wide release that way.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will just watch that. I think a lot of people just watch that because it's Billy Batson. They don't know the character. And they don't know that they don't care nor care what DC is.
Yeah, well,
but yeah, like right now, if you wanted to make your fan fiction, nobody's really going to stop you. It's only when you actually start to try to make money off of it that anybody's going to hit the head.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, like I said, take Winnie the Pooh, right? Winnie the Pooh.
All they did was make horror movies off of it. They didn't actually try to make an accurate Winnie the Pooh at all. It was just non-stop horror movies.
Some people who have tried to make Winnie the Pooh comics and novels that are very much like the original.
Yeah.
Nobody's buying them.
Yeah, but my point by bringing him up is Winnie the Pooh, although a lot of people know who he is, a lot of people, when he went public domain, did do stuff on him. But guess what? Winnie the Pooh isn't out there as much as Superman. So
actually, Rick, I'm gonna have to say you're wrong there. When we look at like the top grossing media franchises when it comes to merchandise, Winnie the Pooh creams DC collectively.
All the teddy bears. All the teddy bears alone. Stuff Winnie the Pooh bears.
Well,
all stuff Winnie the Pooh bears alone.
Yeah, I can see that because a lot more younger kids will get that and sort of thing. I'm not saying toy sales or whatever. Yeah, I could see that. But I just more mean Superman's a lot more in the public eye most of the time than Winnie the Pooh.
I'm going to do that to defend my point, though.
Yeah.
The fact that I think more people are thinking about Winnie the Pooh on an average day than Superman, when it comes to the fact that many grown women have like Eeyore on their purse. I think that we don't have to worry about a huge wave of people making awful Superman stories. Maybe there'll be like a few in the same way that like they made their Winnie the Pooh horror movies or whatever. There might be like an A24 Superman film or whatever that's pretty bad, but I don't think like everyone and their mom is going to be trying to make a Superman story.
Oh yeah, well, neither do I. I guess I'm just saying it because I think Superman's a lot more in the public eye, for lack of a better way of saying it. Thus, people would be more hesitant to do it because they might get sued by DC and they don't want to take that shit.
I think that also might be your personal superhero bias there.
Yeah.
Like, I know he definitely gets more media, but Winnie the Pooh is also the type of one where he doesn't need constant media to remain in people's consciousness.
Because it's basically a toy brand. It's kind of like Pokemon or something. Like, people who's gonna buy the stuffers or this thing because it's cute.
Well, I think there's also the fact, and this is why a lot of the Winnie the Pooh public domain stuff has failed. Winnie the Pooh is just not as flexible as a character as Superman is, talking about like the maximum number of stories and situations you could put him in. Most people are just content with the stuff that already exists for Winnie the Pooh. You could just go back and watch it. They're not craving more adventures. They could just return to 100 Acre Woods that already exists and re-experience it anytime.
Yeah, and I can agree that maybe it is my superhero bias or whatever, but I'm just going by what I think, and I won't say you haven't brought up some good points, but I think I brought up some good points too. But I'm not
Also, I
sure.
wanted to respond to Tim because he's been sitting in the chat for a while. And he said, "What about the lifetime plus 50 years?" So my understanding came from when I took a copyright law class back in college, but also this was in 2011 spring semester. So like I could totally be forgetting it. But when I did take the class, it was, mentioned the lifetime of the creator plus like the 50 years. But that still applies to if it's an individually held copyright. I do believe what you're saying is correct when we're talking about things that were copywritten under like corporate or entities, which obviously a corporate entity is just anything that's made of multiple people. But it is considered an entity on its own. There is a definition of what a lifetime is for that, since a corporation can only die by going out of business or becoming defunct, technically. You could go out of business and not be defunct. There's a legal category for being defunct. But that is my understanding from memory. I would have to like go back and start reading copyright law again to see if my memory is right or not. And that's a reading I don't feel like doing right now.
Yeah.
We'd be better off asking a lawyer than somebody who took a single copyright law class back in college.
But I'm like, no one wants to see a Superman that doesn't fly and and just jumps around and then I don't think nobody wants to see that.
I think people could. I think they would watch it if DC made it, but only also if they marketed it as such, right? Like as a retro Superman. I think DC could make a retro Superman movie and it would be really good. I don't know if most people would want to watch somebody else make a retro Superman movie because a lot of people just have the name Superman attached to Detective Comics, or technically originally Action Comics, but they're all Detective Comics now. They don't want really to be like, oh, some no name. Jerry Seinfeld made a Superman movie. Why do I want to go watch that?
If I were to write a Superman comic when it becomes public domain, I'm probably not gonna do this, but I would probably just have it be like a parody where we have Superman as a guy who has the power to invent new powers by putting super in front of a word, and you invent new powers by putting super in front of a word.
This sounds like a Captain Underpants concept. I now have super toast.
But that's kind of how Superman was for the longest time. So I'm like, that's just gonna do a joke on that.
You could just like make up powers on the fly and stuff.
Yeah. Well, that was definitely Silver Age.
Well, there's a little bit of that at the very end of the Golden Age before the Super Age change or the Silver Age change. Almost every change they kind of like try to refocus on like what is Superman, and then he starts to get out of control. But yeah, the bulk of that was like right before the Crisis of Infinite Earths. That was part of one of like the 15 reasons they did the Crisis reset in the first place.
I know. I know.
Like I can acutely control every molecule in my face to make myself look like a different person, or even
and he turns himself to
altogether.
And that makes himself like a Japanese guy.
Yeah, he did that once. He also made himself look like a goblin-looking alien before. Like he used it a few times near the end of the Silver Age. Which is also why like everybody makes fun of the kind of like cellophane S shield that he throws off in the second Superman movie. It was like, guys, you got to remember when that took place. That was during the part of the Silver Age when Superman already started just making up powers on the fly. They were totally in the right to do that at the time.
I totally walked away. So I did. If you answered my question in the chat, I did not hear it.
I did like literally a minute ago. I'll repeat it, but also with the caveat of this question. should probably be answered by a lawyer and not a person who took a single copyright law class back in 2011.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
did take a copyright law class back in 2011. So this is just like what I remember from 15 years ago.
All right.
That
good.
the language I remember them saying in the lecture hall was that it was the life of the creator plus the, I guess now it's plus 50 years as whatever Disney had pushed it to. But if it was held by an individual, if it was made by a corporate entity originally, which a
That is the
corporation
corporate
just any-
entities, yeah.
yeah, group of people, but they count as an entity, almost like a person on itself, that they have a definition of a lifetime for those cases. So what you're saying is not incorrect, right? Like there is a fixed
Right.
thing of what they call a lifetime, though it can be sped up earlier if the corporation goes defunct, which is
Right.
technically the
makes
death
sense.
of a corporation from a legal standpoint, which is not
Right.
the same as like the corporation or like the business going out of business or whatever. You could go out of business and not be defunct yet.
Right. Boarding up the doors with big nails, lost the lease, don't care. Only people like
But
me
that's
would
my
understand
understanding
Yeah.
from 15 years ago. I'd have to like go back and read a lot of stuff if I wanted to like update
Probably
my understanding
hasn't
on that.
really changed that much.
Well, yeah, but my memory could be incorrect is more of what I'm putting there. And
Yeah.
also why it would be probably better to ask like a lawyer who deals with copyright law, because this would be something that's just actively fresh in their memory all the time.
Oh, I'm sure. Because, people sue each other all the time.
It's their whole job, that's how they say in business.
Yeah. In fact, I think like other professions, like a doctor, you're expected to get sued.
Yeah, that's why you have like malpractice insurance.
In fact, I think not my fault. It was actually somebody else at work's fault. Somebody slipped in produce, customer, and they want money. It's the word on the street, at least, about that.
Oh yeah. Is it a large chain grocer?
No, it's Ridley's Family Market. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, if it was like a large chain grocer, they'd probably just like settle immediately, just because they have the money for that. But yeah, that's kind of rough.
Yeah. At least that's what I understand. You guys seriously don't know who Forbish Man is?
I
Off the top of
don't.
my head.
So Marvel had, they had What If, but they also had a series called What the.
I
I
don't.
was
see
like,
this character.
What
yeah,
the?
yeah.
I don't
No,
remember the what
Monkey
the.
Jack.
What the was like a parody series, but they had like Spider Ham.
I don't remember
Yeah,
what
it
the.
was, Irving Forbush, who basically wore pajamas, galoshes, a tied-on cape, and a pot with eye holes cut out of it.
Kind of like that guy. What?
This gal.
Mm. Yeah, you finished
Except
on. Let's
she
see.
predates her or him by like 15 years ish.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
okay.
seen this character's image before. I don't think I've ever read a story with Forbush Man, so I was not going to remember this without looking up an image.
Yeah. I had a few issues of What the. I don't think it lasted as long as What If.
Oh no. Definitely not, because what if is technically still going on. They don't do it. They do more one shots with it than.
Yeah.
But it's also
I
a
don't.
concept that gets
Yeah.
resurrected periodically.
Yeah.
It would be maybe cool if they resurrected What the, but given the fact that even at the time that it was running, it seems Stan was the main person pushing it. Without him around, I don't think it's ever coming back.
Yeah, definitely. And I can tell you my favorite what ifs definitely was what if Marvel lost Atlantis Attacks? What if Wolverine became an agent of Shield? What if the X-Men lost the Inferno Saga? That was pretty dark.
Yeah, there's lots of what ifs out there. Like it was a series that ran for 3 or 4 years, I think, at one point.
Yeah, as like a continuous series before they started doing like one shots and stuff.
And that was, I think, back in the 80s. Hey, Alpha. We got
Late
Alpha.
80s, early 90s. They had several volumes because they would cancel it and then bring it back. Ugh. Oh, I'm pretty sure you're all aware that Melvin #4 has gone to printers.
No, I haven't heard this once. You know.
Don't lie to me.
Well, that's good.
Yep. Anyway, it has, so I'm happy about that.
Well, I'm hoping Snowdrift 2 goes to printers by the end of the year at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But that's dependent on a few things. My pocketbook and how fast somebody can work.
So we're not on track for Melvin 10 to come out sometime this decade. We're leaking into the next decade.
I mean, I'm already got like a volume, so I'm pretty sure I could get within a few years into Melvin number 10.
Yeah, you've got like 4-ish years.
Is that a challenge?
It is.
All right, challenge accepted.
You need to do 6 comics in 4 years. Can you pay for it?
That's not that hard.
Yeah, I actually get my books done.
I can never get one comic made in 4 years, so because money issues.
I made 4 in 1 year, but also I'm the artist, so it's a little easier.
Yeah. Let's see. Alpha says, "Hey, I'm trying." Then puts a sad smiley face, sad face.
Y'all work actually is pretty good, Rick, of this character because it's too super realistic.
Yeah. Let's see. Then he says, "I'm just a bit behind with an animation right now. It's 12 frames. I thought I would get it done over the weekend. I told them I would have it done by Monday. Now I'm 2 days over. Oh, sorry to hear that. And I'm just teasing a little with it. Like, obviously I'd like it done as fast as possible, but, the last month I was sort of out of work. So, it's actually working out for my benefit right now because not having the money to pay you for when it's done. So, the fact that you're a bit slower than. My boss, he didn't get a business license way back when he first started, and then he wanted to do a whole stand up about not getting a business license, and because of all the stuff that happened with COVID and nobody answering. But then his landlord said, you either get a business license or get out. So at that point, he's like, okay, I'll get a business license. So, but since he said that, just early May, I haven't had any hours.
Oh. So have you checked up with him and seen that he does have hours?
Well, I should be starting Monday for getting hours. I've been in fairly regular contact with him, so with things that are going on. So, Alpha says, "Dang, Canada wants you to get a license for everything." You caught
though,
up.
actually, that's the same here. Trust me, if you don't have a business license, especially in operating in a city, there's going to be consequences.
But he got away with not having it for 3 years. But this came about because some idiot customer, as far as I'm concerned, called and complained to the health department, about something, I'm not sure what. So they then showed up and, like the food, nothing is wrong as far as I was concerned, nothing was wrong in the back or whatever. But he just had them there the other day and passed the inspection with flying colors. So
Yeah. I mean, heck, I know even in like the Dallas area of Texas, I assume it's probably at least statewide, from when I was working in that industry. You need like 3 different licenses just to run a place that sells food, right? Like a standard business license. Individuals need a food handler's permit, but like the restaurant itself needs a food handling license and everything, which I'm sure is probably connected to the food inspector or health inspection that you guys
yeah,
you need like several different permits to be able to sell food to people.
as far as I know here, you could, and to sell food, you just need the business license, and then of course you need to pass the health and safety inspection and a fire inspection. But other than that, Alpha says, I heard about a little girl's lemonade stand getting shut down because she didn't have a business license. Yeah, I heard about that some, cop or some person, just went and shut down some, little girls or whatever kids lemonade stand because of no business license. It's like, hello, they're just selling it for the day or two. It's not like they plan
You
on
can get away with stuff short term a lot. Like we never needed the food handlers stuff when we were doing like concession stands, and there's a lot of especially like sports fields and stuff where you could just rent out the built-in concession stand for a day. But anything you try to do long term, typically the leeway they give you is within a month. Even if you start working for like a food business, as an individual, you can kind of go like a month before you're like required to have your food handler's permit.
Yeah.
But also the area I was in, being in Texas, which is very friendly to small businesses, um, as long as the person you're dealing with isn't a prick, you could get away with a lot in the short term.
Yeah.
Technically, don't even need a business license. It depends what you define as a business license. If you're an individual operating as an LLC, you would register as a business, but you don't have to like renew anything. It's like a one-time registration. But once you start having like multiple employees, that's when you have to start dealing with that stuff.
Yeah. Alpha says seems like drug dealers have an easier time selling drugs. Yeah, right to
Absolutely.
work. As I was gonna, but to answer Alpha, I'm not sure. Have you finished page 5 yet? I'm not finished coloring this page yet. I thought I did a bunch of the background stuff. I did all the flowers, or most of the flowers. I might need you. If you can, Saturday, come on and just let me know about some of this flower stuff for the line work. So I'm not quite caught up on this page. Nope, I haven't gotten to it yet. Okay. So, but I'm not quite caught up on this. And I've got stuff from, if I get this done, whenever I get this done, I've also got to go and get more of this city done in. I've been postponing it, and then of course there's the shade lighting and shading on the other pages too. So. And I can always, if I get all that done before you're done page 5, I can always go on to coloring up uh, the Canadian Shield ash can. I was working on that beforehand. Anyways,
Yeah, I don't blame you for jumping around and coming back to it. I hate coloring cityscapes. There's just too many like small individual colors in them.
yeah.
But then again, there are some people who specialize in landscape and city drawings, but I don't think they intend on making comics most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are even people within comics who specialize in that, at least for the drawing portion, because a lot of times that stuff gets handed off to somebody else afterwards, especially in the Japanese industry. Not as much here. A lot here, whoever does the inking is expected to ink everything, and whoever does the penciling is expected to pencil everything. And then the colorist is expected to color everything. But if you have multiple people doing multiple jobs, it's like, well, yeah, it's my job to color, so I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna go do all of the colors.
Yeah. Well, my stories depending on what I want to do with the series, I'm probably gonna try to hire different artists. With, uh, if I have for example, one title might focus on this thing, so I'm just gonna have an artist who specializes in that thing.
Yeah, I'm sort of, well, I won't say I'm sort of doing that, but I'm definitely trying to get different artists as I can, afford, do what I can afford on different things. Alpha
Like
says
for
you don't know.
example,
Go
like for
ahead.
example, when I get around to making Lightwave, most of the art most of the money has to go to the colorist because the comic's going to be based around light power. So
Yeah, but
so
even with that, you're probably your penciler inker is going to be more money. Well, your penciler, but if your inker's doing the penciling and inking would probably, if they doing the same person doing that, then that's going to be more expensive. But even just the penciler will be probably more than the colorist. I would guess, anyways. Metal probably would know a little bit more about that than me for sure. Who's
Maybe.
usually who's usually more expensive? The actual artist or the colorist?
Oh, typically the most expensive out of all the artists you're gonna work with, and like, if you're doing the American kind of like factory division system, is the inker. The inker's gonna be the most expensive. Um, then probably the colorist after that. I would
Oh,
say the pencilist is usually the least, unless
oh,
you're intentionally hiring a really, really experienced pencilist. But that's not typically the case. Usually, the most experienced person, the one who defines the art, is the inker. A lot of times, too, when you talk to like Marvel or DC, penciling is what you do to get into working on comics. They're like, yeah, just go in and pencil the pages. The inker will define everything when they get there.
oh, okay. I would have thought that was the reverse.
It depends. What really matters, and I'm just talking about general practice,
Yeah,
it matters who's the most experienced and biggest name on the product at the end of the day.
yeah,
They will get paid the most because of their experience.
yeah. But I'm saying, say everybody has basically the same experience, for lack of a better way of saying it, and they all
Yeah.
have about the same level of a name. You think the inker would still get paid more? Not the guy that's
That's
actually.
just been my experience, but
Uh,
it could vary. And well, especially too nowadays they have like flatters, right? So they'll have like an intern come in and flat the whole thing before the colors go. I can imagine the colors could be paid even more if they also have to do their own flat work.
Okay. I would have thought the colorist would have been like third in line, but guess I'm wrong.
No, penciling is usually like a grunt job.
Oh, wow. I just thought it would have been because without the initial pencils, it's you don't have anything to ink and you don't have anything to color.
Yeah. But you have to think too, the inker could do all the penciling. The reason they separate it is just to speed the time, the whole process up.
Yeah.
So they consider their inker, which is the actual final precision work, right? Like, you could kind of be rough and screw up on your penciling. If you screw up on your inking, you have to white out like a whole section or whatever.
Yeah.
It's that's the important part, is the inking. Alpha says, doesn't the colorist hire the flatter? Depends, sometimes.
Let's see. Alpha also said, you don't have to be super detailed with the city. Just fill it in with gray. I don't want to do that. I want it to look really decent. So, but that's on me. I'm being a bit anal about it. And then he says manga has a lot of assistants. That's why they get paid so much. It's not intended for them so low. They assume they will have to hire assistants.
Yeah, typically in manga, like, the mangaka's in charge of hiring their own assistants and choosing that. But also, they still treat their field almost like apprentice work. So a lot of times, the assistants that work underneath you are basically learning by working underneath you, and they'll go on to make their own stories later on too. You might have several different assistants working the same job at different times of like the lifetime of a single manga run, and they'll go on, they'll do their own thing, and you'll hire a new assistant to fill in the space that they just made empty.
And then he says, depending on the pencils, pencils can either be super loose or detailed. Jack Kirby's art was real sketchy. Most of the time, he had a great inker to finish off his work. Okay.
Yeah. Think about Kirby too. He was like really, really heavy when he did things himself. Like when he did do the inking, to the point that like sometimes they felt like the page wasn't going to hold all of the ink he put on it. So it was often better to have somebody else ink him. They're like, this is not going to print well, Jack. And then people complain, it's like, oh, look, this inker ruined Kirby's art. It's like, you have to remember the limitations of the printers back then. That inker saved his art. Yeah, that is how he got 10 pages a day. He was just loose. That's how you gotta be. But also, like, if we want to count an individual page, even though Kirby was, like, the important guy there, per book the inker got paid for, he was just working on like several books at a time. 10 pages a day. Kirby was getting multiple books out a month.
Yeah, although back then too, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Kirby, he was good, but back then too, things weren't quite as detailed as they are today either. For a lot of comics,
you know, it was by intent though, based on what they were doing.
Yeah,
and also printing restrictions. So if you were printing in black and white, you could kind of get as detailed as you want to the degree that the page can still hold the ink. Though it's a lot easier to hold your black ink when you're not also putting colors on top of it. But when you're dealing with like the limited color palettes that they could print back then. You
Yeah.
have to make sure that every space is easily defined. You have to worry about what the page can hold. And then also, specifically with the guy he was working with a lot, he didn't know what words were going to go on the page. So he had to intentionally leave like a lot of space blank for lettering to go into.
Yeah.
So it's like his stuff was the detail it was out of sheer necessity.
Yeah. Well, I'm not even thinking just Kirby, but back then comics were not as detailed as they are today, or rendered. However,
that didn't really start to like the mid to mid '80s through like the '90s, because when we start getting into the speculator market.
I don't even think it. I was going to say I
No,
don't
like
even
the
think
image
it.
era.
I don't even think it had to do with the speculator market. I just.
Also, printing techniques changed, but
That
Yeah.
was the major
that
thing.
had
They got their level up in the 90s because of our printers. You didn't have to worry about like color bleeding and stuff like that as much. We just upgraded printing technology was a big change. They also started around that time changing the type of paper they were printing on, not just the type of printers, which can hold ink differently. For the most part, it's still kind of the stuff we're using now, which is why we've had upgrades since then, but they haven't seen as dramatic as the upgrade we got around that time.
Yeah, let's see. He's Alpha says he looked it up. He actually got 4 to 5 pages done. Yeah, then he said, yeah, the '90s leveled comics up on detail. That's a good point. The older comics colors bleed a bit. Also, Stan loved writing novels over his art. Stan's writing used a lot of word balloons and narration.
Yeah, so like, why am I going to make an overly detailed background if Lee's just going to cover me up anyway, right?
Yeah.
Which, actually, even that you can only do in the pencils because you can't ink over it until you know where the words are going to be. So it's like, he'll do his pencils, he'll leave the space, he'll even tell the inker, it's like, listen, that space is going to be words before you even get to it. Don't have to worry about the fact that I'm not putting pencils there. And then the inker's like, okay, because he's going to be going over both the pencils and the words. We didn't get to work with layers back then, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes they would use multiple sheets or they'd white out space or whatever. That's the most inefficient way to do it, though. You leave it blank, let the writer go in, put their words down, and then the inker inks everything. That's the efficient way of doing it at that time.
Yeah. Where nowadays the lettering is probably one of the last things to be done.
Yeah, because we'll kind of leave enough space, but you want your background sometimes to feel fuller. So you don't care. It's like, oh, there's buildings in the background, but some of those buildings are going to be covered by a word balloon because God bless digital art. That's right. I forgot that was a technique too, where they could cut out word balloons and scan them in with the copier. If you wanted to basically functionally work with layers back then.
Yeah. Well, that was a sort of way to work with layers.
Yeah. But I mean, they work both ways. Like I've seen like photographs of like the inker going over the letters as everything was penciled in.
I want to ask: Have you seen a Harvest Man?
Whatever way they could do.
Have you ever seen a Harvest Man before? I don't think I've ever seen one from my own eyes before.
You mean the arachnid?
Yes.
Yes, I've seen plenty in person. But also, like, I lived in Texas, and there's plenty of those in Texas.
Oh.
Alpha says, I've noticed manga artists where balloons tend to be huge. There's just
I've seen them before. Wait, I've seen Harvestman before. Daddy Longlegs technically Harvestman.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it also depends, right? Because I'm sure, like, I mean, you're probably looking at it with the original Japanese text in it. One, they like to give room for their words to breathe. I do too, even working purely in English, though I don't necessarily make my balloons as big as they do sometimes. But also, they always end up writing their words vertically, right? From right to left, top to bottom. So when we adjust it to English, we have to translate the sentence, and depending on the sentence, sometimes we need more words, sometimes we need less to say the same thing. Often more characters, regardless. But because we're going to be writing it left to right, going horizontally, we have to fit the space differently, and it just doesn't match in. It just looks like there's a bunch of empty space there.
Yeah. Well, although it doesn't happen as much as I'd like. I like to have a little bit of room for my words to breathe too when I do.
Oh, it's like the first thing I yell at somebody. Which I had this problem the first time I ever tried a letter, and then from like having a graphic design background, I'm like, I hate this. I need to go back and redo all the lettering. I need to leave a lot more room for space around my words. And then I'll just be like, see somebody else doing it. It's like, dude, you gotta let your letters breathe, man.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes I have way too much crap in my.
Treat your letters like they're off in the suburbs, not in an apartment complex in the middle of the city. You know, give them some elbow room. Have a yard.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna go. Goodbye for now.
Okay, later. Is Tim still here?
No, he left quite a while ago.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Just because, as you know, I'm very rarely, unfortunately, I'm looking in the Discord.
But you don't hear the sounds of people entering and leaving.
Yeah. Yeah, because I probably should put that on, but I haven't, so.
I was thinking about the whole like cutting out the panels or like the balloons and putting them over for the copier. Was also making me think of like how you had to do toning and stuff back then, right? Because like if you do black and white, you could always just, like, do hatching and stuff, and to a degree you can still do hatching. But like if you wanted to get colors that weren't there using halftones and stuff, you had to physically cut your tones out and like paste them on.
Okay, Mike in the chat says, where is the on air button in Discord? It's not a button, it's a room.
It's a channel. You just scroll down in Rick's thing and you'll find it at the bottom, and you click on it and it brings you in.
Well, let me bring up Discord.
But yeah, dude, toning, so awful. Even some black and white tones, awful, because you were still cutting them out. Or scraping. Scraping tones was a thing at the time, too. That is like, I'm just so glad that I could do all my tones digitally now. That I don't have to deal with the stuff that people had to deal with at that time.
Okay. So we'll take this image off there for right now.
Are you going to show him where it is?
Yes. So,
That's assuming he's looking. He might have left YouTube to go try to find it in the Discord.
yeah. If you look over here on the side, you have the cross general videos going live, cross comics, YouTube. That goes like that. Under voice channels, there's the on air. And you just click that, probably either a single or double click to get in there. I should make sure Mike has question is can okay, I did that, so let's
Oh, I see you did the same thing I did. It's like, because there's almost never any chatter in any of the other rooms. It's like, just collapse all the categories so it's easier to get to the on-air channel.
let's see. Oh, I did try to look for it. I couldn't find it. Okay. Maybe for some reason. Okay.
Let
Mike.
me look at the permissions for this channel. I think everyone should be able to see it, right? No, you have. Okay, so that's right. You only people with like the roles of like any of the listed heroes can even see the channel.
Okay.
So you have to at least make him a D-list or higher hero for him to be able to view it. That's why he can't find it.
There, he should be able to find it now.
Yeah.
I could have sworn I've had him on before like this, so maybe it's a new account for him or whatever. I don't know.
I don't know. But it does help to sometimes check permissions to remember how do people see this in the first place.
Yeah, I was just going over to see what he was, his role.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking maybe he can't see it because of permission, as you just were saying. And I realized he didn't even have a... he wasn't on any of the lists, so it's like, okay. I should give... Roll...
There he is.
Hey, Mike.
I
Sorry.
have been on before. I think as Metal just pointed out, maybe because of the different roles and all that, and maybe you.
I think at one point,
whatever. That's probably why I couldn't find it.
I think at one point everybody was able to view this, and Rick has changed how the permissions work since then.
Yeah, and the last time I was on here, it was still before he did that, but. And I'm only popping in for a moment here because if you guys saw the message on my channel earlier, I'm getting some maintenance done on my computer today. Kind of got I may have been scammed. So I'm having my computer guy come take a look at my computer. I got a call from what I believe was people at Yahoo saying that people were trying to change my passwords. And when I told my sister that, she told me that normally they would not call you for that. So I got, So
Yeah, that's what we call social engineering.
So I may have let them into my computer when I probably shouldn't have, but I was basically being told that people were trying to like get into my, change my passwords, and they tried to sell me like a $700-800 anti-hacking program, which I can't afford. So, and I did let them into my computer, so basically I'm having my computer guy come over to take a look at my computer, make sure that they didn't do anything to it, and I can just do everything regular. And I don't have to like log out of anything because I usually just stay on. I just stay logged in to everything, make it easier that way. But that's basically what's going on with me, and that's why I didn't do my show tonight. And I'm guessing that Tim probably left because I think Chris just started his show like a few minutes ago.
No,
that
well,
does sound like a really common reason as to why Tim would have left like 20 minutes ago.
Well, actually, Chris, technically, he puts his show on usually early, but it just runs for half an hour, just showing videos and all that before before he goes live. So,
Rick, apparently Mike sounds low.
Yeah,
I just manually turn him up on Discord since then, or
yeah.
Okay, just making sure you saw it.
I sound low. What? Like the volumes? Like I'm not loud?
Yeah, it was just on stream. I mean, you sound fine to me, but he probably just needed to adjust you on his end.
Yeah, and I already did that, so don't worry about it. You know, like I saw it. Most of the time, I see the chat. No problem. What's going on Discord? You know who comes in and goes.
Yeah. Well, I know sometimes if you're like focused on your drawing, it might take like up to a minute before you see the chat, but you'll eventually always see it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, sometimes I don't say something when I see it right away. It's just.
But just to clarify some of the things I was pointing out earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ma Hunkel made her initial appearance in All American Comics #3 as part of the Squibbly feature, and then and as you know, Rick, because we just read this story the other day, she made her first appearance as the Golden Age Red Tornado in All American #20, and then she made her first appearance with the Justice Society in All Star Comics #3. Now, what I asked you earlier is if you remembered what I told you about that. She kind of went in. First off, as we read, nobody knew that it was a woman. Everybody just thought it was a man, you know. But she essentially went in, her pants ripped, and then she ran out. Like she was in and out pretty quick. So at that first Justice Society, meeting. So, but
Yeah.
that was basically the points I was getting at. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we were trying to figure out whether she was public domain or not, and it looks like she's not going to be public domain for a few more years.
Yeah, I had not really heard anything about that if she was or not either, but
yeah. So my tonight thing,
it would be kind of surprising to me too, because I mean, they have in a way made her part of the modern day canon too. So her name is Abigail, but her granddaughter, I think it's Amelia, actually did become a metahuman, a cyclone. If I remember correctly from what little I've read about it.
Yeah, but so I'm gonna have to probably change the title of this show.
And to your conversation,
Maxine Hunkel.
Well, no, as to your conversation earlier too, this is what RJ told me. If you use a character, that's okay. But I think Metal was saying this. But the only thing is if you put like Red Tornado on the book, that's where you're gonna have the problem.
Yeah, we already had the whole copyright versus trademark situation.
Yeah.
I had that conversation already. But the name you were looking for, Cyclone, is
RJ told
Maxine
me the same
Hunkel.
thing before. RJ told me the same thing before, so.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just was popping in to kind of clear all that up and stuff like that. But I will.
But Alpha says to your situation, somebody on Discord tried to hack me like that. They hacked someone I was following and impersonated them.
Well, apparently it wasn't Discord they were hacking me from. It was apparently my Yahoo.
Yeah. He's just I believe he knows it's different. He's just doing the comparison.
The technique is called social engineering. It's where they don't even have to do anything basically digital. They can just kind of convince you that you should be giving them their information, and then they can just get in however they please at that point. Well, yeah, because the most common way to get people.
Yeah, I mean, here's how they got me there. So I saw the number. Now, normally, if it's a number I don't recognize, I won't answer it. But the same number called me twice, so I said, okay, better pick up, see what they really want. And I tried to hang up again, and then they called me again. So I figured, oh, this must be serious then, and me being not as like on the technical side of this stuff,
Yeah.
it's like it's all Greek to me.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I would suggest for something like that in the future is, yeah, I get that, and that's probably a great thing to do. Don't answer it if you don't recognize the number. But you know what? Unless they leave a message,
Don't
don't
even
even.
respond. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that part too.
Because, you know, like.
Oh, Alpha sent me some screenshots of what he was talking about.
All right. Well, anyways, guys, I'm gonna head back out here. So.
What do you think of my Ma Hunkel? My red tornado.
Yeah, it is kind of funny. Because I was thinking about this. That is, I think, a good that is her costume, and they called her Red Tornado. Yet, you know, her the red part didn't take as much part as you would think. You know, if somebody called Red Tornado, you would think the whole costume would be red, but
Or a lot
at
more.
least the most prominent part, the cape. If the cape was red and she came like a calamity flying in like a red tornado, that would make sense. But it's like it's just her underoos.
yeah. But I mean, she is more of a comedic character, though. It's like, and a lot of the comparisons you guys were talking about earlier, is true. You know. Anyways, I guess I'll talk to you guys later as soon as I figure out how to get out of this.
I just gotta hit the hang up button.
Yep. All right. Talk to you later.
Okay, later.
Yeah, I was trying to say that because he was trying to find the character's name, but Cyclone is Maxine Hunkel, who technically before she was Cyclone appeared as the Red Tornado in Kingdom Come, but then later as Cyclone in Justice Society of America.
Yeah, she was even in the more recent Justice Society. No, Black Adam, I believe,
Yeah, yeah.
movie where the Justice Society was, which it was an alright movie. I don't think it should have been called Black Adam, and I'm not even sure whether I liked The Rock as Black Adam. I thought he was going to be a good pick, but
Yeah. Well, the problem too is like, and they complained about it a lot, where when they were working with The Rock, he ended up deciding a lot of things for them, changing things on them too, because he was like a very particular actor. Then you basically had to meet his demands or he was going to walk type situation, right? On paper, he would have been a good one. In practice, he's not a very good person to work with. Apparently, people dealt with that same problem the entire Scorpion King franchise, the spinoff from the Mummies. But that movie was going to be very different in plot, too, and it changed over time. So maybe it would have even have been more of a Black Adam movie from the start if they were allowed to do what they wanted to do.
yeah. Well, that's the other thing. I just don't really like what they did with Black Adam's origin either.
Yeah.
They changed it a lot, I believe.
Yeah, and he showed up late all the time, too. He's such a diva.
You know, usually I like him as an actor, but, you know. But in some, I guess it might have been his fault, but his acting was alright for the role, but like I said, it seemed really, it was a little bit off from the thing. The more he got power, the more his production studio takes over. Says
I heard at one point they were trying to get the movie canceled, like internally.
Oh wow.
But at that point, I think it was the audience wanted it too much. I think it didn't even didn't do that well, right? I don't think the box office was that good for it. It wasn't like horrible, but compared to the budget they spent on it, anything should have just been canceled for like a tax cut or whatever. They should have just vaulted that movie forever.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, yeah, like you said, the fans wanted it, and then I don't think it ended up being what the fans wanted. Because yeah, they depend on normies for it. Well, in some ways, but I think you depend on the fans a lot too, because I think a lot of fans will go see it more and more over and over again if they think it's good. But if the fans don't think it's good, they're not going to go see it, and then they will tell their friends not to go see it and all that. And I think you get my point.
Yeah. I'm wondering how many of the people that were seeing it were like fans of the character Black Adam, or were just going to see it wanted it because it was a Rock movie.
Yeah, there's that too. There's definitely both there, so you'd have fans of The Rock going to see it, and then you'd have comic book fans going to see it. Well, I'm not sure what Rock fans thought of it, but
I don't really care what Dwayne Johnson fans thought of it.
Well, there's
Their
that.
opinion doesn't matter to me.
Well, it doesn't really matter to me either, but I'm just saying I don't know.
You know what, though? It still can't be as bad as that Batwoman movie they shelved. Talking about like, things they could have or should have. I have no idea what happened in there, but the fact that it was going to be connected with like the series that they were doing at the time, it has to have been probably the most awful thing they've ever produced, and there's probably a good reason it never got released.
Yeah, and I would really love, in some ways, I would love to see a copy of it, but they did something so nobody can leak a copy of it. So that really tells you how bad that movie was.
Yeah, you know what, though? Like, I'm not even morbidly curious. I'm good.
I must say I'm probably a little bit morbidly curious, but guess what? I'm not going to die over not seeing it either.
It was going to be odd. It was going to be Batgirl / Batman Beyond. See, that concept doesn't sound that bad. But, like, I guarantee you, they just did it in the most awful way possible. Like, every decision they could have made, they probably made the wrong decision.
Yeah, because
including, like, casting and who's directing it.
Well, one thing I think I heard, it was supposed to be extremely woke.
Yeah. I would love an actual Batman Beyond movie, though, if the right people were behind it. Because Terry is such a cool character.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that myself either. Let's see. Alpha says Instead of Terry, it was going to be Barbara Gordon with Michael Keaton as the mentor.
In fact, actually, that's what I said that they should have done instead of the Batman, because what's his face? Edward from Twilight, who played Batman recently, blanking on his name. Anyway, he would make a much better Terry, trying to have like a young man sort of like edgy vibe to him, with like Keaton as Batman. Then he would have made a Batman. I mean, technically, he's a little bit too old to play Terry if we used Terry in the timeline from Batman Beyond. But if you're doing a movie, there's no reason you couldn't get like a college-age Terry or something instead.
Yeah. Someone pitched an animated Batman Beyond in the style of the Spider-Verse. Rob Pattinson, he said.
Thank you. Yeah, I was blanking on his name. Cedric Diggory was the other like really big role that he had before that. But yeah, Rob Pattinson. He would have made it much better like if you just, I don't know, Terry just got out of college or whatever, because you could play somebody who's a little bit younger than you actually are, especially with makeup. If they pick like a college-age Terry and had Rob playing him, like he'd have like the look, put him in a leather jacket and stuff, the attitude down a little bit more than trying to pull off Bruce. And you could have just had Keaton play Old Man Bruce, and that would have been a great movie.
Yeah. Also, is Terry in high school?
Yeah, he was in high school in the original series.
Okay. I just asked because I've seen the whole original series. I just forget. I just don't remember him going to school, not see him in school that much. Unlike, like Spider-Man, I remember seeing Spider-Man in school.
Yeah, it wasn't really a big part of the show.
I know because he was working.
He was also the type of kid that would skip school too, so. Tim has returned!
Hey, Tim.
I'm back. Hello, how's it going?
All right.
I had to take. Yeah, I gotta put in the headphones here, so it doesn't disturb people.
Yeah, he's going to be in the Batman 2, at which point he will be 40 or 41 years old. Yeah, like he's definitely beyond that point.
Batman 2.
But like in the first, if they had done it on schedule, because it took him a while to get the first one off, it's like with makeup, he could still believably have played somebody in like his mid to late 20s or whatever. He couldn't anymore. There's a time and opportunity for you to do things, and then it passes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if sometimes it takes, sometimes you gotta get in better shape. You let things go.
Yeah.
Like me, I'm having to change everything. Time has come.
You gotta get the right type of wrench to get your tires off so you can change them.
Yes, sir. I have.
Okay.
I have that.
Got your iron.
Yeah.
Your tire iron.
I got the Rocky theme song playing. I'm ready to do this.
You ready to get the spare tire? Get rid of the spare tire?
You can do anything in a montage.
Yeah. It was like what's it?
needed a
Robot Chicken.
montage.
They had Montage Man.
I didn't see that one. I know the South Park song about you can do anything in a montage.
Yeah. But there was a Robot Chicken sketch with Montage Man, and he had the power to basically force montages, and anything could be solved that way. But his archenemy was End Credits Man. It was the very last sketch of the episode.
Honestly, I thought his arch nemesis should be in real time, man. It happened.
No, he beats
in
in
real
real time, man,
time.
though. He just montages through it.
Oh. Yes.
But you can have a montage mid credits to beat them. Post credits.
My favorite, most underrated superpower is the power to force musical numbers. Because you could solve anything through a musical number.
What about Balrog? He has all the powers he wants. That's
He
another
does.
South Park joke. It's another South Park joke. I'm sure you understand. You've seen that episode, right?
No.
Yeah, it's just been a long time.
The one where they buy those. They were able to buy those like lethal martial arts weapons because they
Yeah.
convinced the guy that their parents died in a storm or something.
There was one point where me and my brothers, we just went through and we watched the entire backlog of South Park. This might have been like 2014. And then after we caught up, I was kind of just watching the new stuff as well. But when
New
you're
stuff
watching
is
the
very
whole
lacking.
backlog together, a lot of it just blurs together.
Their new stuff just seems lacking. I mean, they were.
Yeah, I would say
like
they were probably doing pretty strong up to the pandemic special, and then after that is where everything started to kind of
they had they're well. I mean, I get it. I mean, they made fun of the left. Now they make fun of the right, which is fair. But
Well, I don't really blame them too much. Like they could do better
Yeah.
about it. They could be the change in the culture, but like what South Park does is they make fun of whatever the culture is. And right now, sadly, politics, especially like whatever's going on with Trump, is the culture. It makes it less interesting though, because people are watching that stuff. Even if it's to make fun of things that are going on in the day to day, they watch it to get rid of politics. You could help. You go look at the other culture, right? Like try to actually push the culture away from the politics again.
Yeah, but I mean, when everybody's doing that, what they were doing, it's not even interesting.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're doing what everybody's doing. Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations. You played yourself.
Because they've been saying for a while that they just don't want to be doing it while they're 50. Right? And it's like, if you aren't happy with what the culture is to make fun of right now, you could just like stop.
Yeah. You don't have to do it.
I think they still owe some movies, but you have a little more leeway with timing and planning your everything than you do with the season. So they could just like finish their contract for the current season and then just do the movies they owe and then leave.
They should do the current season plus the movies all at once. I mean, the Misfits had a contract that they couldn't leave Geffen Records unless they released all their music. But they did it with a like a B-side.
Yeah, because they always get you for like a number of records contract where you have to actually fulfill out like whatever you signed for. So like, yeah, let's just do it all right now.
Oh, I mean Roadrunner.
Just get it done.
They did it for Roadrunner, which was I guess a metal label, but they decided just to get it all done and over with.
It's one of the two reasons why we don't really get Weird Al stuff anymore. Is that he finished his 10-album contract, so he doesn't, he doesn't have to make stuff. And he was going to go to just doing singles, and he said if something hits him, he'll still do a single. It's just there's no musical zeitgeist anymore, right? Like everybody's in their own little corners and stuff. There's not like a shared culture, so it's like, what parody would I even do?
I mean, it's like all the music's very disposable, right?
Yeah, but it's not even necessarily that it's disposable, because even some of the stuff that he's done before, You could argue some of those songs were disposable. They were just made to be a hit at that time.
Yeah.
And the music industry wanted it to be. It's
I mean,
the fact that we don't have.
Name a hit now. You can't.
Well, that's the bigger problem is that there's not a shared musical culture anymore.
There's not a shared anything really. I mean, it's like this current generation just killed culture.
It's the internet. The internet did it, and it's not that it killed culture at large, but there's microcosms, mini cultures everywhere now.
Fitzgerald says nobody is listening to the same songs every so often. I think, I think every so often they are, but not a lot. Yeah, I think you're right because a lot of times, like the one I think it was
TV.
Yeah, like the one about a year or so ago. That the View got on the guy about in a small town or whatever. Come and do that in a small town. Everybody was listening to that for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, but it was still like a pocket of culture that was listening to it. It still wasn't like the cultural zeitgeist, right?
Like
it's not like Michael Jackson. Everybody was listening to Michael Jackson.
Like back in the day when you watched must-see TV and you went to work, or whatever, or school, and you said, "Hey, did you catch that episode of Seinfeld?" or whatever. Everybody knew what you were talking about.
Yeah, we don't even have that for TV anymore.
Yeah, I could go and say, "Hey, did you see The Mandalorian?" No, I don't even know what that is.
And part of that too is with TV that started to spiral out of control with cable anyway, as things started getting to a bunch of different networks. But streaming is what mostly killed that for TV, because at least there were still some pockets of stuff that people would talk about during the cable era. And streaming is also what ended up killing it for music. Because now everybody could just go and find the exact genre they want to listen to. And there was always people that were genre heads of the stuff they liked, right? But there was also like the popular zeitgeist at the same time. And even if it wasn't quite your thing, somebody who was a genre head would still know the popular song. You'd even know it enough to be able to make fun of it if you wanted to. These days, you could take somebody who's supposedly like the biggest person in the world. I couldn't even name like a current Taylor Swift song.
I mean, like I am pretty much I'd say 95% of what I listen to is punk music, but I do listen to some metal. But I don't think I could name.
Yeah, I don't really listen to almost anything new unless by a band that I happen to listen to puts out something new.
You know what's very indicative of this? Watch movies, right? It used to be that in movies, if there was a contemporary hit, you'd hear that contemporary hit in the movie. Now, all of the modern movies, it's old hits.
Right. Well,
because
another
they
thing
need
is
to pick
like
songs everybody knows.
Yeah. Another thing is like I noticed the only thing I have against this current generation is their whole mindset is based on an algorithm.
Yeah, but I don't actually have that against the generation. It was kind of done to them.
Yeah, but they, I don't know. I just then they have the need to because bad behavior is rewarded, so they have to go out and do something stupid. I mean, that is kind of like what they're into. Not really kind of like being known for something you're good at. It's just being known for that one viral hit.
Yeah, but that's still, I blame the parents more than the actual generation itself.
Well, I mean, they allowed, but it was done to them, but they allowed it to continue happening. They don't do anything to correct it.
It says you don't have to pick songs everybody knows. Well, I mean, they're going to, though. Because that's how the industry works.
They don't take chances anymore on anything different. They only want the sure thing. That's why they do remakes and adaptations of popular things, because it's a sure thing. It's sure to make money. They're not going to take something that they're not sure people are going to care about and make it into a movie.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you don't have to do anything really, as long as you're following laws when it comes to practices. But there are practices they're going to do.
Yeah, because they've done them for umpteen number of years, and they're proven to work. So, there's an old saying: "Don't fix what isn't broken." Now, a lot of times people
It's
are
okay,
trying
dying,
to,
though.
yeah.
And
So
honestly, I don't even think it's their practices that are killing. I mean, there's certain practices that are killing them because people don't care about the stories they're trying to tell and stuff like that, and they're wasting too much money. But at the end of the day, I don't think that's ultimately what's killing them. I think it's the fact that they're turning into a fossil. They're just not the type of entertainment that the next generation wants anymore. I think that's what's killing it more than anything else.
What does the next generation want? I don't even think they know what they want.
Well,
yeah,
they
but
definitely want stuff that comes to them. They don't want to have to go to it. That's a big thing. They like catered
Right.
entertainment.
That seems more like entitlement. I'm entitled to have something come to me.
Yeah, but
yeah,
it's all about the cultural practices, right? Like the big problem was giving babies iPads, right? Now you gave the streaming to the parents first. It's the only thing many of the kids knew.
Right.
That's like the idea of like why even a lot of the restaurant business is dying, because a lot of stuff now is delivery. Because some people were raised with delivery being just the option for them.
yeah,
And delivery ends up pricing out a lot of smaller restaurants because of what they have to charge, and then people aren't going to pay what the smaller restaurant has to charge for the delivery. And even pricing out a lot of fast food restaurants. It's a cultural change that is actually the fault of the generation that raised it, not the generation itself.
yeah.
Right. You know what would actually kind of help is, instead of rewarding bad behavior, like, I don't know, driving a riding lawnmower into a Target, damaging your door frame, and ruining the floors. Platform could easily not allow certain videos that display bad behavior on a thing, like kind of like how if you were to put a bunch of curse words on YouTube, it'll stop you and say, "This seems a little harsh. Do you really want to say this?" Something like that, and then you can either ignore it but or YouTube is basically censoring things because either it sounds rude or explicit or something.
It says, and I'm not sure what this means, is one issue with animation now is people only go to Glitch. Glitch only makes one type of show.
Glitch is a small production studio.
Yeah. Well, you know what I'm saying, Metal? Wouldn't that make sense to you? That maybe
it makes sense. I don't know if it gets to the root of the problem. Incentives matter, right? Like having a proper incentive structure is how you get whatever you want. Right. You just have to get the incentives around what the actual problem is.
Yeah, it sounds better than like just not allowing teenagers or children to have social media accounts.
Oh yeah, dude. You would probably be seen as like an abusive parent in a lot of people's eyes these days, but I wouldn't even let a kid have a phone until they were like a teenager, and then I would probably only give them like a burner phone at that point.
Burner phone,
yeah. Hey, Outcast! We got Outcast in the chat. So hello.
Well, burner phones can still do to the internet, but hey, good luck. SMS, that's all you get.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just I just think if they could just do something like that instead of just just giving them whatever they want, access to
Yeah.
it, and then people complain that they're growing up too fast. I don't know.
Okay, says that looks cool, Rick. Thank you. So it's shaded, it's lighted. Not too often I get to do all that on a character and have some extra time.
Very simple shapes this time.
Yeah.
You actually did that, or did you did you add some kind of effect to make it look like that?
What do you mean?
He just colored it.
Or you just colored it?
Yeah, that's just like a brush that he used for the shine and everything. And that's it.
All right.
So overall, what do you guys think?
I think it's
What about
probably one of
overall?
the stronger pieces that you've
Best
done on
ones
this
you ever
movie.
done. Yeah. Probably the best one you ever done.
Oh, I guess it means I'm getting better. And like Metal said, it was a lot of just really simple. It's a simple character, and probably because it's from a lot simpler time. So,
Yeah, it's
You
a
know,
character that shows your strong suits, for sure.
Yeah. I'll say this. Usually what happens is the next generation is usually the opposite of the previous generation. So let's hope for kind of a bounce back.
Well, in some ways, there are like total trends, culturally, right? When it comes to like very specific things, they tend to be rebellious towards often their parents, but even more so like the mid-step generation. But even that type of like, oh, the things you thought were cool aren't cool situation doesn't often fly in the face of total trends.
Right. Okay.
There has to be like an actual cultural moment that happens usually for trends to change.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to end up changing the name of the show tonight from Public Domain to Golden Age characters. I'm going to make up a...
You do it. You do whatever you want, man.
It's not public domain.
Yeah, that's why. This is Ma Hunkel of the Golden Age Red Tornado Outcast. I read with Mike on the mic stand her story on this past Sunday from DC Comics. Yeah.
She's chunky.
Yeah, she is. So, yeah, read that. She had been introduced in 1939. Part of I forget the one that she was part of, but she just became a hero. We read the story on Sunday, Red Tornado. Although I don't even think they named her Red Tornado in the story, because she just appears right at the end. Right near the end in the costume. So,
in her makeshift costume.
Yeah, she keeps the costume too. So, I'm like usually when I'm on with Mike, something inspires me to do something, and I just assume everything is public domain. I'm gonna have to make sure. See whether I'm doing Golden Age character or public domain now.
Well, if you want the safe point, pretty much everything before 1900 is always safe.
Yeah. Yeah, but usually when I'm on with Mike,
my comics kind of start after 1900.
Yeah. So tomorrow we will be having the Silhouette game. We will be doing 80s manga, and me and Metal after this are going to be going and getting all that stuff together.
Yes, very last minute.
Yeah. So Tim missed last week for the Star Wars one.
Oh, I did, didn't I?
Yeah. And you You might have been the only person, I think, to get the last one. If you would have got it. Or the last two, maybe, but probably more the last one. Because I used a character from Droids.
Oh well, that's my fault.
All those
feel
free
so
points to
ashamed.
waste.
I know. Oh well, I'll somehow live. Here, Chris and Diana are on right now.
Yeah, I know. I would go over to them, but I got to do the thing. Outcast says, just name it Public Domain or Golden Age Wednesdays. Well, I also sometimes do independent comic characters, so I've got like 3 different things I can possibly do.
Bye, Tim.
Bye, Tim. Alpha says, does that mean I can take a break since Metal is co-hosting? Well, you could, I guess, if you really wanted to, but it was, I think it was some dynamic last time when we did the 90s one with both of you there. So, talking and all that, because you guys know a lot more of the manga than me. Although 80s, I might know a few more.
Oh yeah. No, number one is probably going to be. I'm not obviously not going to say it now, but easily, obviously the most predictable character possible for 80s. So, but that,
Yeah.
it should be every time, right? Number one should always be that.
Or close to that.
Ramp up.
Yeah. The first 5 are in there. Sometimes I'm not sure which one is which, more easily recognizable,
Yeah.
but I usually try and make 1 through 5 fairly easily recognizable. Alpha said that is a good point. So I guess Tim has left, so he doesn't get to promote anything because he left. So anything you want to promote, Metal?
Yeah, it's going to be the same thing I've been promoting, but I have to wait for YouTube to load up because I've had it on my phone, not on my computer this whole time.
Yeah.
But xdynamischaos.com, let me drop that link in there where you can find everything important to X Dynamis Chaos, including the tabletop game that I am working on that I tried to progress during the stream. I barely made any, but I'm working on it.
That's good. And thanks everybody for coming on. Mike, Fitzchozo, Tim, you as well, Metal. It's been great having you all here. It's been great having everybody in the chat. Yeah, don't forget tomorrow, as I was just saying, 80s manga for the Silhouette game. And then Saturday I'll be doing some coloring on Snowdrift 2. And I was going to say something else, but I can't not remember. So we'll catch you all later. Bye for now. God bless. Love you all. Have a great night, people. Tell your friends, yeah.